We as humans claim our stake as the apex predators of the world, feeding off every little thing that is provided to us by Mother Nature. Is it our birthright to use our world as we see fit? To exploit its resources in order to grow as a society? Are we allowed to destroy our world as long as we, people that are living in the present day, get what we want? Is it fair to future generations down the line? Pollution is an ongoing problem that's still very much prevalent in today's age. Stemming from multiple different sources: industrialization, carbon emissions, deforestation, and desertification. There's even concern for natural air pollution, like storms and volcanoes. Not only do we owe it to our planet, but we owe it to our future generations as well, to push for a healthier future. While today's air pollution is a concern, I'd like to take you back to a time where it was so prevalent that it was empirical that change needed to occur in order to proceed. A time where it was so clear that change was needed. Los Angeles, a city of plenty, a city of opportunity, and a city that at one point had the worst air pollution imaginable. In the 1970s, Los Angeles had some of the worst air pollution imaginable. It was so bad that some people believed it was a gas attack by the Japanese. Rapid industrialization and lax precautionary measures allowed for the air quality to reach an all-time low. There is an argument to be made that it was solely big industry and the size of the population of Los Angeles. But there is also another argument to be made that it was truly the lack of understanding and the effect of mass industrialization in the scientific fields. And while we can blame ignorance at the time, it is well known that the industries were well aware of the effect they were having on the environment. In an almost dystopian-like manner, people did what they thought they had to do in order to counter the rise in smog and pollution. Wearing gas masks, oxygen masks, goggles, the world almost seemed different in Los Angeles. It wasn't until the United States government got involved that pollution truly became something the general population fought together against. Congress enacted the Clean Air Act in 1970 that would force cities to meet air quality standards in order to combat against smog buildup and other crucial air pollutions. If you look at the idea of air pollution, you can see its origin in America, and how it was especially prevalent due to these two terms, industry and ignorance. Not only that, but you can see how it affected people, not only of Los Angeles, but of industry-heavy cities that were slowly becoming smog-filled areas. It's important to see the bigger picture, the effects that were happening, and just how many people were being affected by the pollution. Our environment reacts to the way we treat it. And if our environment suddenly stops becoming suitable for life, it's time to take a seat and realize the adamant destruction we've caused to our environment. For a much more modern example, we can take a look at China, more specifically Beijing, which is one of the most populated cities in the world. Beijing has suffered one of the worst air qualities imaginable, and that's especially due to not only mass carbon emissions from the absorbent numbers of vehicles on the road, but also the rapid and mass industrialization that is prevalent throughout the city. It has become such a problem that driver's licenses for citizens of Beijing were raffled instead of given out by the city. And the reason for the raffles was to avoid the excessive amounts of citizens that wanted or needed a license to drive around the city. This allowed for less vehicles to be on the road. Despite these authoritarian actions in order to fight carbon emissions, the idea of public transport started becoming the focal point of these bigger cities in Asia, allowing for bigger and better infrastructure to be built. To this day, China and Beijing both still hold the lead on pollution, despite it getting better over the years due to government intervention. China recently decided to strike a deal with Tesla to essentially push for only electric vehicles to become a staple in 10 to 20 years. While I'm not bringing up Beijing to undermine our attempts here in the United States, I wanted to just put into perspective just how different countries use different means to combat pollution. No country is proud of their pollution, and here in the United States we have the means to build a better infrastructure, to give future generations a longer lease of life, to avoid cataclysmic phenomenons that could occur due to negligence, acid rain, desertification, smog. These are just the tip of the iceberg of air pollution. What about other forms of pollution? The destruction of coral reefs, exhaustion of lakes because of a lack of fish, trash in our ocean. Air pollution may be what I wanted to focus on, to explain throughout this documentary, but I'm trying to bring awareness on a larger scale. Our world is so precious and fragile despite our constant abuse, and if we don't slow down, our world will break.